Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton, here with one of the fabulous Sid Roeder. How are you, Sid?
You just barely rescued that one, didn't you?
Oh, I was going to say wonderful, and then I decided, I say that a lot. I better switch it up today.
I love it.
I need to butter you up.
There you go.
A few weeks ago, I did the intro all by myself, and you do it much better. So I'm going to butter you up so you keep doing it.
I disagree, actually, but yes, let's talk about our sponsor really quick, which is the Empowering Seniors Group, a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and effort to provide information for seniors, their family members, caretakers, and really anyone that loves to listen to us on a Saturday morning. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniors.cv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. Or lastly, if you have any suggestions for the show, anyone you would like to see us invite, you can call me personally at 435-512-6406.
See, you do such a wonderful job. Okay, let's get to our guest. We have Eric Swenson from Beam Lending with us today, and you've been on a few times before, but for those guests who might not know who you are, what Beam Lending is, you want to give a little background about you and what you do?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I enjoy coming on and working with you guys and giving some information to our seniors out there specifically, but I've been a lender for 17 years. I'm born and raised here in Cache Valley, lived all over the West, and came back to have my family here. We love Cache Valley and love lending here in Utah. I'm licensed in Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Washington, Montana, soon to have licenses in a few other states. So it's a nice place to have a person who can lend here locally, but also can extend and help friends and family other places. Beam's been around for since 2013. We're a company that finds products for people, lends our own money, brokers products, all for homes. I do commercial lending as well. But, it's been a fun experience, a good career, and I do love serving people. And today we're going to be talking more on my reverse mortgages, dispelling some myths, giving some information, and really just putting that out there so people have a choice. I do a lot of them. I'm very comfortable with them. I've been educated well. My background is, Utah State University, Master's of Business Administration, and I am focused on financial operations. So I love doing things here in the finance world.
You mentioned reverse mortgage, but what is your favorite aspect of your lending career?
My favorite is taking the first-time home buyer. They're scared. Their eyes are just big, and they're worried about spending $400,000, and helping them calm down and come to that decision in a very adult way and take control of their finances.
That's awesome. So I guess going into what you were talking about with reverse mortgages, you have all these people who have, they worked so hard for their home, and now they're essentially getting a loan against their home for everything they worked on. Is it a similar experience when you start working with seniors on their reverse mortgage?
Oh, it is. Many seniors haven't done some financing in years. They've paid that house off. It's been free and clear, or they have a loan that's maturing and it's been in for 20 years. I'm reteaching the modern process and re-educating on what their rights are, their options are, and how to use their money in a way that's best fit for them.
Yeah, maybe we need to talk a little bit about, because there is and I know it's too difficult to lay everything out here, but there is a little formula to it that gets used that has to do with age and things like that. Maybe you can start off with that.
So the traditional HUD-backed HECM, or home equity conversion mortgage, requires a person be 62 years or older. Doesn't mean that you have to be 62 years or older to live in the property. One of the seniors could be 62 and a spouse could be 45. It's okay. but one has to be 62 of age. There's a calculation of residual income. You have to make enough money to at least support the home after we put a lien on that property so that you're not depending on the money we've allocated for you to pay. And then the rate timeline that you lock in at gives us an expected rate, and we take those calculations and throw this formula together, and it then gives a person how much of the equity of their property or how much of the value of their property they can borrow. So it's different for everyone. An 80-year-old, it's different than a 62-year-old, it's different than a 70-year-old. But everyone has a custom calculation, and we find that perfect balance for them.
So is there a fixed rate? How do you calculate those things? What are kind of the numbers that go into that?
So very rarely there is a fixed rate, but what we end up using is we use the federal funds rate, and we calculate off of a variable rate that's out there. Oftentimes they use a CMT. It's one of the rates that's published in the United States. It changes on a monthly basis, changes on a yearly basis, and we have those different spreads or calculations that we can validate where is your rate going to be for X amount of time. And it does change. So it's come down. And that's what I want to let seniors know today is versus 2 years ago or versus 1 year ago, seniors today are able to borrow more of the value of their house because the Fed has dropped rates a few times. And as rates and bond traders who affect those rates continue to push the rate downward, it's going to give seniors even more advantage to borrow more on their property. But it does vary. And a senior has to come into this reverse mortgage thinking, okay, I'm borrowing against my property. I'm borrowing most likely for the last time. And I'm going to use this money how I need to support my lifestyle as I age in my years. And I want to talk about that as we keep going of how to support your lifestyle and what can you do with that money? Are there rules? What's your attitude towards it? Because I believe that's very important as we talk about reverse mortgages.
Yeah, maybe let's really quickly, because I know for people that don't work in the industry as you and I do, there's when it first got started with a reverse mortgage, there were some things that weren't maybe not quite thought through, and some things that were wrong, and so the people have that still in the back of their head. Can you explain briefly on how those things have been dealt with?
Yeah, sure. Majority of the reverse mortgage loans we do are managed and mandated by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. It's a federal agency. It's created a rule set, policies, procedures that have to be followed to do a HECM. Earlier on, 30 years ago, private corporations were doing these, and they were kind of heavy-handed in their policies and procedures. So if somebody vacated their property for 6 months or had a second home or whatnot, there were issues. And now there are rules. We require education and home buyer education course to be taken. You have to have that guidance before you close your loan. It's been a really good thing to see the issues ironed out, just like with anything. A first model of a vehicle always has bugs and problems. The early years of reverse had its issues, and they've been cleaned up with different iterations. And I'm pretty proud to say that I think it's a great product, and it's something that really helps its generational group that it's meant to help.
Thank you, Eric. We're already at our first break. This is the Senior Moment Show. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Mark Thurston with White Pine Funeral Services. The best time to plan is when you have time to plan. Having a pre-arranged funeral gives peace of mind for everyone involved. White Pine will customize your final wishes to fit your needs, from a traditional burial to cremation to a custom headstone. White Pine also accepts pre-arranged plans from other mortuaries, and we will absorb any transfer or revocation fees. No penalty to you. Visit whitepinefunerals.com or come and see us for more information.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Did you know 1 in 3 people will visit a nursing home? Did you know that once there, they will stay there for an average of 3 years? Did you also know there are insurance options that can help cover this experience? Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance. It's not cheap to stay in a full-fledged nursing home. Long-term care insurance can help you or a loved one get the care they need and deserve. If you wait until you need it, you may be too late. Give me a call at 435-890-8155.
Getting around your home should be easy and safe. At RT Med Mobile, They provide wheelchairs, stair lifts, ramps, and electric lift chairs to help seniors maintain independence and comfort. Their friendly team offers free in-home consultations to find the perfect solution for you or your loved one. Locally owned and here to help, call 435-260-6171 today. RT Med Mobile, because your mobility matters.
You have a lot of options when it comes to buying or selling a home. Do you list it online, sell it yourself, or do you have a realtor help? It's a major financial and emotional decision. A realtor is the liaison between buyers and sellers and really helps you navigate complex contracts, deadlines, and disclosures.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty.
I work for you to get the best outcome for your situation. Let me earn your trust with a free consultation and a free market analysis. Call me today at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
It's tough knowing how to care for an aging parent. Mom has always been there for me, but now I need to be there for her. When we found out she needed surgery, I wondered how I could attend to her needs and still be mom to my kids. I was so relieved to learn about transitional rehab at Maple Springs in North Logan. From the nurses to the physical therapists, it was like their whole staff was focused on helping Mom get better. Maple Springs in North Logan was an answer to my prayers.
Learn more at maplespringsnorthlogan.com or call 753-9400.
And welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton here with Sid Roeder, and we've been speaking with Eric Swenson from Beam Lending all about reverse mortgages and what that entails. Eric, as people are listening to this show today and they might have questions about reverse mortgages or mortgages in general, where can they reach you at?
So I'll give you my contact info here. It's I work at Beam Lending, so we're in North Logan, but my phone number is 435-512-8300, 435-512-8300. That's the very easiest way to call me. You can text me. It's okay. My email is eswensen, ESWENSEN @beamlending.com. Or you can go to beamlending.com and just get everything right off of our website. So we've tried to make things easy, but call me. Let's talk it through if you have a need.
That's fantastic. All right, so I had a question over the break. What are people usually, like, what are you seeing people use the money from reverse mortgages? What are they using them for?
Oh, that's a good question. Lots of things. I'll say it that way. I've had people use the money to shore up a draw because they're living off of an annuity or a fund, and they found that it's a little lower, or they didn't want to touch their invested money that's being managed by a financial planner. So they've taken this reverse. There are 4 ways you can take a reverse mortgage payout. You can take a lump sum payout. You can set yourself an annuity where there's a certain amount for a certain amount of time that's paid to you regardless every single month. There is a circumstance where you just have enough in the reverse to pay a mortgage off. So that's not really a line, but you can set a full line of credit where half is available of your line of credit the first year, and the second year, the remainder becomes available to you. There are some really special things. That's my favorite right now, but I counsel for whatever a person needs. So it doesn't matter what my favorite is, but I really like that line of credit because if you don't use the line, it grows every month. So the lender is actually paying you back by increasing your line because you're not utilizing it at a rate of return that's higher than anything I can find locally at a bank. So it's really cool. So what do people use it for? I had a family use it to take their extended family on a cruise. That was cool. I had another one who there were some things coming up that there were some larger bills, medical bills and renovations because they needed some special needs adjustments to their house because one of them was losing the ability to walk. Well, that was like a $60,000 renovation to the home to create an ADA bathroom and to create ramps and to flatten and level floors to a single. They wanted to do that rather than leave the home they'd lived in for 30 years. And then I've had others who brought in home care to afford a home care cost of people to come in and care for a loved one, as maybe one of them was still, one of them was still working, but she couldn't be gone while the husband was ailing because of his need. So they brought in home care to make sure he was safe during the day when she needed to be gone.
Let me maybe ask you one question that I've been asked in the past when I've brought that as an option to clients of mine. How does that look with the spouse that is maybe significantly younger and the home? If the person that initially got the mortgage and signed for it passes on, what happens?
Good. So there are a few rules with reverses. One of them is you need to pay your taxes, your insurance, and keep the house in a marketable condition, right? That's pretty much the rule to stay in it. If a married couple starts with a mortgage and one of the married couple isn't of age to be on that mortgage because one's not 62 or older, right? Because of that marriage agreement, that individual have rights of inheritance, meaning they get to stay in that property for as long as they live, as long as they do those other three things. Pay their tax, pay their insurance or HOA dues, etc., and keep the house in reasonable, condition. That's really cool because, for couples who someone unexpectedly passes at 68 years old and they entered into a reverse, there might be a lot of life left for that surviving spouse. How nice is it that you do not have a required payment due the remainder of your natural life, as long as you keep that house in those rules? That's pretty cool. I think people have been nervous because of that. And that's just a myth I like to dispel is, no, you're good. You can stay there.
Now, I used to work with people with disabilities all the time. And there were times where they would have someone would have a child with a disability that would live with them as well. Would that transfer to the child ever? Or is that always off the docket?
It's a marriage agreement.
Marriage only.
But you can close these properties in a trust. And as that individual is a trustee, then there are vehicles in the legal process in the state of Utah that can assist in getting things cleared up. Because as a trustee, you'll have the rights of survivorship, and that individual may need help if they're in a special need. So I would say they need to consult some legal counsel, and I'll work with them in that regard if that is a situation that comes up, because there's life insurance payouts. You can enter into a mortgage life policy or a regular life policy, and it would pay out what's remaining on that reverse to clear that title for that child who may not be able to care or take care of their own finances. But this is a product for people, and we have to have that heart of care and humanity, number one. But I recognize that that's a concern for some individuals, maybe rarely, but it is of some concern for sure.
So what are some other, before we head into our second break, what are some other fears that you encounter people have when they actually do sit down with you?
I think that one fear just reflects the mindset shift in generations. I hear often, I want to give the house to my kids. It wouldn't be fair if I didn't give them their inheritance that they deserve, right? I hate hearing that they deserve. Like, that kills me because people are feeling guilt that they're putting a mortgage on a property, and that's a roadblock for us. Hey, what will my son think or my daughter think? Those are real fears. I'm more than happy to bring in families and have an open discussion as long as they've started the process. I don't like to break news of your mom and dad are looking to do a reverse on the house. That's not my job. My job is to counsel. So I speak with my clients. I say, what kind of involvement do you need to have with your family? And what are your concerns? And so those are some real ones. Others are like, are they going to kick me out? Are they going to come check my house every 6 weeks? No. I've had people who want to go do service missions for their church or go and volunteer somewhere for a month or 3, or they have a second home in Arizona and they want to go and stay in Arizona. There are rules for all of those elements and kind of expected behaviors. And so I love to just talk through the concerns and the fears because everybody has some. And I wouldn't say that there's generally just a few, but I would say family and inheritance is probably the biggest group, which we could talk about as well on this show. That would be great.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. We're already at our second break here. This is the Senior Moment Show. Again, if you would like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Need a helping hand? The Bear River Association of Governments, also known as BRAG, is here for you.
They assist seniors with in-home services, provide utility bill relief through the HEAT program, and offer rental assistance to keep you housed.
Need help with tax prep? Their experts ensure you get the refund you deserve. And for veterans, they're here to connect you with the benefits you've earned.
BRAG is your local resource for a stronger today and a more secure future. Call today or visit brag.utah.gov.
Hi, this is Bruce with Comfort Care. One of the ways we help loved ones stay in their home is by assisting with daily tasks. These may include bathing, meal preparation, medication reminders, and housekeeping. We even help with shopping, transportation, and errands. Most of all, we offer a trusted level of care. Let us help you live your best life possible with Comfort Care. This is Bruce, and you can call me at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
This is Scott Robinson, owner of Cache Valley Pharmacy. At Cache Valley Pharmacy, we offer so many services, from free delivery to custom packaging. We pride ourselves in our compounding. We love it so much that we've partnered with Focus Pharmacology, Cache Valley's own premier supplement line, and we're throwing in a free bottle of supplements with every new custom compound prescription. You heard me right, a free bottle with every new compounded prescription. So when your doctor asks where you want your prescription sent, tell them Cache Valley Pharmacy. Cache Valley Pharmacy, keeping it local, online at cachevalleypharmacy.com.
Are you tired of feeling unwell and not knowing why? At Next Level Health and Wellness, we hear you. We specialize in uncovering the root causes of your discomfort, whether it's gut health, hormone imbalances, or emotional and mental blocks. With personalized plans, advanced lab testing, and evidence-based holistic nutrition practices, we guide you toward lasting health and wholeness. Awaken your healing potential with a team that listens, understands, and supports you wherever you are. Visit nextlevelhw.com to start your journey to feeling better today.
And welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton, here with Sid Roeder, as well as Eric Swenson from Beam Lending. Eric, you just talked about all these different situations that people might want to take out a reverse mortgage. If someone wants to or has questions, can you give us your contact information really quick?
Sure, Bryce. As a reminder, my phone number is 435-512-8300. You can email me at eswenson@beamlending.com or come stop with us and visit with me at 2072 North Main, Suite 101. Walk right in the main doors and you'll see our sign. It's a very comfortable and inviting environment where you can just have your questions answered. So come and chat with me.
That's awesome. One of the questions that I was thinking of as you were talking about the fears and different things that people might have, my fear would be what if I took a reverse mortgage out on the home I have now and I don't want to keep that home, what happens if I want to switch locations?
Sure. So reverse mortgages have lots of abilities. You can take one out on the house you live in, and let's say rates drop real low, you can do a HECM to HECM refinance. Very inexpensive. You reset your expected amount of money during your lifetime, and that gives you usually more equity available. If that house isn't working for you, you can list that property, sell it, buy another house. You can buy a house with a reverse mortgage. And Sid, you were talking a situation where people head out of, let's say, our northern area because it's cold and they want a new house. Tell me what you see in that.
Well, one difficulty I've ran into is that people were trying to move south into a more expensive market. And so the proceeds of their paid off home didn't quite make it so they could afford something compatible in that area. And so a reverse mortgage is really the solution for instances like that, because then you can still potentially, of course, if the math, which is why Eric needs to do those calculations, but you can potentially then afford something that makes sense.
So, sell a $500,000 house here in Cache Valley. Your proceeds are $460,000. You see a home that's somewhere south, it's $580,000. You see that there is a shortfall, right? I mean, that's $120,000 you don't have. So with a reverse mortgage, that $580,000 house might be a $300,000 required down from your previous sale, which still allows you $160,000, and you have no mortgage payment due per requirement for the remainder of your life. So you just squirreled away $160,000 to go and enjoy down there and have a lifestyle. I think that's the ticket. If anyone's listening to this, looking at potentially finding a patio home that's a single level, or selling that home they raised their kids in and heading out to another place, come talk with me and make a plan. That would be a really smart thing. Even if it's a local move, going to a patio home that's going to be in a senior community. We now have some of those here in Cache Valley, and you want that type of a lifestyle where there's a clubhouse and there's fun activities and things like that, come chat with me, because we might want to use that reverse purchase ability to keep more money in your pocket and let you guys enjoy your lifestyle without having to dip into your invested funds or having to live nervous about not having the funds at the end of a month.
So let me maybe throw out really quick there. If somebody wants to sit down with you, Eric, is there a charge to it to do all that math with all the different scenarios?
There's not. That's what's nice, is I'm working for the end result of helping you close your loan. That's how my income is made. I love to give the counsel. I do have limited hours, so I like to chat with people and set expectations of here's an hour here or 2 hours or whatever's needed. But I can say that my wife tells me I have a bleeding heart, so you'll probably get more hours out of me than you expect. But that's the way I choose to serve people.
How long, speaking of time frame and different things, how long does it usually take to once you come in and meet with you to when you close on the reverse mortgage?
Sure. Yeah. I usually like to meet with people before they're under contract. So, our first talk is 30 days to 60 days, maybe 90 before they close on a house. But from going under contract to closure is about 30 days. It's not much longer than a typical transaction. It just depends on the offer, right? The situation.
Yeah. We were talking earlier. I'm just curious, what are some of the success stories that you've seen out there with the reverse mortgages?
Well, so you put me on the spot. I'll give you two I can think of, and won't name names because they'd get mad. But here's a few. Did a reverse mortgage this last year for a wonderful couple, mid-70s, blended family. Husband does have cancer, and he's been battling it. But they came in with a mortgage, and they were paying it each month. She was having a job. He was now retired. They just didn't like their numbers, and they were trying to set things up so that the day that his cancer takes him, she doesn't have required payments the remainder of her life. So they did a mortgage. It gave them the freedom of mind to say, oh, now that first mortgage is paid off, so I don't have a forward mortgage anymore, and they put $60,000 available in their account, and they call it their cruise money. And they joked with me that they thought that, hey, are you going to come cruising with us to Hawaii? And I said, are you going to, pay my way? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, then I can't, because I've got a bunch of kids at home and we're not going to do that. So that's a fun one. Another one happened over the hill on another valley, and theirs was simply Social Security income, both receiving some money. It wasn't adding up with their current forward mortgage. They wanted it paid off with the reverse, have the lien on the house, and I got them enough money they go and replace a fence, and they have no more of the financial obligations other than tax and insurance on that property and upkeep, and they've done a great job doing it. We're actually in talk again to look at now a HECM to HECM refinance, because when they started theirs, rates were higher, now they're lower, so they're going to have more access to some equity.
Thank you, Eric. Sadly, we're at the end of our show. This is the Senior Moment Show. Tune in again next week.